Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm not doing a get ready with me. Instead, we're gonna talk money. I want to come on here and share with you guys my money journey and how I am progressing in my road to financial freedom, because I'm going for it. You need to know that I am. I think the internet thinks that I am rich, which is very funny to me. But I am just very frugal and very intentional about how I spend money, how I earn money, and also how I save it or invest it for the future. I personally am not someone that enjoys working. I think anyone actually does, but because I knew that I didn't want to work forever and work, the 40 years until retirement at 65, I started to seek out resources to help me on my financial freedom journey. And there's a ton of things that I've learned and a ton of resources that I've found, but some of my favorite resources have actually been books, because I love reading. If you're new here, my name is BB Queen. I'm a former engineer and now full-time content creator, and I talk about all things books, travel, engineering. You get all of me over here on YouTube. So today I'm gonna go into 3 of my favorite books about money and about financial freedom, and they are all written by Black women, because over here we love a Black woman from infinity to infinity, okay? But the reason why I read books that are written by Black authors is because a lot of times they are written in a tone that is very relatable to me and allows me to connect with the author that likely understands my situation or my background. There is a huge disparity in the wealth gap between Black households and their white counterparts. So much so that just looking at this website, in 2019, the median wealth of Black households in the United States was $24,100, compared with $189,100 for white households. Therefore, the typical Black household had 12.7% of the wealth of a typical white household, and they owned $165,000 less in wealth. Obviously, there is a huge disparity between Black and white households in terms of income and also generational wealth. So knowing that, I wanted to educate myself and therefore educate you guys on some of the things that have helped me in my own personal money journey and getting my funds together, because no matter what time of life you are in or what stage you're in, you can always learn more, always improve your finances in some way. So I'm gonna go through each of these books and why I think they are so good and what they're really good for, so their strengths and weaknesses. So the first book is Financial Freedom for Black Women. It is written by Brandy Books. This one is a very great book to start out with if you are very new to learning about money. This is a really good beginner's guide for learning about money, because she talks about wealth building within this generation, how to find different side hustles and how to make your side hustles work for you. And she also introduces how to change your mindset around money. Now, I think she can go a little bit more into detail about money mindset. However, the other 2 books I'm going to talk about go into really great detail about it. But this is a really great book to get started. So I would say this is a really good introductory level book. It does cover some investing basics and also some basics about cryptocurrency as well. So if those are things that you're interested in and don't really know anything about, but just want to get some beginner information about, this one is a really great book for that. This next book is Get Good with Money by Tiffany Aliche. This book has been all over the internet. If you have not seen this book yet, I don't know where you're living, but it's probably under a rock, because she has done from this book so well. She also has a podcast. Her podcast is called Brown Ambition, and I've listened to this podcast. I love her tone in her book and in her podcast. Tiffany is so relatable, and she really answers questions in a way that people from the culture can understand. I love that so much. So she will describe how to buy a house and all the money that you need to buy a house, but in a language as if you're talking to your best friend on FaceTime. And I love that about her. I have so many tabs in this book because I have highlighted so many things. He goes into a lot of detail about investing for retirement, and that's why I love this book. I cannot get enough of it. Her book is laid out in terms of being financially stable. Each chapter, you're a percentage closer to being financially whole, and I love that she incorporates that concept into this book. She also gives a lot of really great tips for entrepreneurs. I think a lot of personal finance books tend to fall short on that because they anticipate that almost everyone that's buying the book is working 9 to 5. I totally understand that, but Tiffany also gives different alternatives for entrepreneurs and business owners, and also for people who want to build up their side hustle as well. So this is a really great book for that. I also really like that she tells her story in the beginning of the book, and she talks about how she was a teacher. She was an oversaver, so she had about 40K in her savings, and she made 2 really bad decisions that ended up having her in over $40,000 in debt. She talks about how she got out of that debt and how she was able to become financially whole again. And she also is a serial entrepreneur now and owns, I think, 3 businesses. She talks a lot about her businesses on her podcast, Brown Ambition. Like I said, if you haven't already seen her, you need to get on the bandwagon. She also has a documentary on Netflix too, where she helps individuals about money. So these are individuals that are in very different financial situations. I think it's called Get Smart with Money on Netflix. So if you haven't already seen that, you should check it out. It's really digestible, the documentary. The book is a little bit more high level, slightly more, but like I said, really great. I have marked this book up and down. I have highlighted all through it. I usually get my books on my tablet, so on my iPad, and I'll just keep my iPad, and then when I'm done with them, I'll delete them. But I bought this book hardcover because I loved it that much. So if you haven't already heard of this, you need to get with it. Last book here that I want to recommend, it's called We Shall Be Millionaires, and it's by Rachel Rodgers. I saw this book on Instagram. It was recommended by a friend, and I was like, okay, I don't really know their book taste, but I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna get it a fair shot. And I even told them that if I don't like the book, they have to buy me a margarita. So this goes to show, 1, I lost out on the margarita, but 2, I really did enjoy this book. I loved it so much. This book goes heavily into money mindset and making very smart money decisions. And the reason why I love this book is because she talks about it in terms of women and also in terms of Black people, but she talks about money in terms of entrepreneurship and how to switch your brain from making the everyday 9 to 5 style, it's not a bad thing, but 9 to 5 style decisions versus making decisions that are worth your time and money. One really great example is she talks about if you are a mom and you are doing a side hustle and working your job, but the dog needs to get walked and you need to cook dinner, there are people that you can hire to do those things. So you can hire a dog walker, which then frees up a little bit more of your time. And instead of focusing on cooking every single day, you can either get meals delivered to you, you can get a personal chef, you can get someone to meal prep for either yourself or your kids. So she talks about a lot of different ways that you can develop a new mindset to have more time available in your schedule and in your daily calendar, but also to be able to make more money in the future. So at the end of this book, she talks about 10K in 10 days challenge. That really opened up my mind entirely, because in this challenge, she challenges everyone to make $10,000 in 10 days. And it doesn't matter what way that you decide to make this money or how many different sources of income that you need to make the money. I want you to become more creative in how you make money, and then to build on those sources of income to then invest for retirement and things like that. So this is heavily on mindset and is very inspirational, very motivational. I loved it so much. The last 2 books are more foundational and also give you a lot of tools to be able to change your money situation or improve it in some way, shape, or form. Especially this one is a lot about retirement and saving for retirement and living a financially free life. So that's why I really love this book. But all of these books are really great options. But what I want to really hone in on is that when you read these books, be an active reader. So like I said, I marked up this book. I have highlights all throughout this one that you need to be an active reader to really get the information and to start to be able to implement it in your everyday routine. I started reading these books when I was in graduate school making less than the standard of living, and I took the time to really learn about money and figure out when I would get money, how I could allocate it to different funds in different ways to put myself in a better financial situation and not have to live paycheck to paycheck like I was living at the time. I really use the free resources from their podcast, as well as reading these books and reading books on my tablet to start to learn about money that I could then implement it later. Even if you are in college or if you're pretty young and you're like, oh, well, I don't have a 9-to-5 job yet, or oh, my business isn't full-time yet, that's okay. You don't have to be, but just learning the information up front and knowing what to do with the money later is very, very, very helpful. I also want to say that when you read these books, it's not a one-stop shop and then you're done with it. These are books that you can refer to time and time again to refresh your own memory about what you've previously read, but also a lot of things will catch your eye that may not have been applicable to you before, but you can now use and implement in your business or in your everyday life. Even though I've read these books plus many others, I still listen to the podcast. I still listen to different YouTubers and different videos about money because the journey of learning never actually stops. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed hearing about my top money books. I will be on this money journey along with you and talking about it in upcoming YouTube videos. So if you like this video, let me know in the comment section. I've also linked all of these books in the description so you can check out these and other books that I really, really, really love and learn about money with me together. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.